Today I'm going to show you how you can create your own animation series with no big budget, with no massive big staff or big team, all by yourself. So stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to Tweenovate, your roadmap to become a better parent. I'm Eon, and today I'm going to show you guys how I am creating my own animation series and how I'm actually making money of this series and how you can do the same. Just a little bit of background. Tweenovate is a family ministry where we have two sections or two legs. The first leg is where we provide parenting resources for parents. So if you have a young child and you are struggling with the daily tasks of being a parent, feel free to visit the website. There's great resources. The second leg is we provide great Christian entertainment for kids. We've got a band called Victory 5. We create TV shows, and the theme of today's video, I'm actually creating an animation series as well. And I'm going to show you guys today exactly how I'm creating this animation series all by myself. I don't have a big team. I'm doing this all by myself, and I really want to show you guys how I'm doing it, the tools that I'm using, all the links of all the tools that I'm using. I will put it in the description box. Just a little disclaimer, I'm not getting paid to do this video. These are only the tools that I'm using and that I will suggest you guys also use if you want to create your own animation series by yourself as well. This is how I'm doing it, and I really hope that this video will help you guys to start getting creative and create your own animation series, and also to make money of it. Why not? Why not turn your passion into an income or a full-time job? So I really hope this video will help you. Now, the first thing you need to do, obviously, when you start your animation series is that you need to write a script. And what the software that I'm using is Celtx. I will put a link in the description box below where you can download it. The software is actually free, and I absolutely love this software. It makes my work so much easier, and I will explain to you guys exactly why. If you use this software correctly, it will make your job so much easier in the future, and that is also what I'm going to show you in this video today. Now, so you've installed your software and you want to start writing. Now, the first thing you need to do, first of all, the animation series that I'm creating is in Afrikaans, so you won't be able to, or some of you won't be able to understand what I'm writing here, or if I show videos of the animation series, some examples, you might not understand what they're saying, just so that you know that the series is in Afrikaans. So that is why you may not understand some of the things. But anyways, back to the script. The first thing you need to do is when you start writing a script is you need to plan your story. So the first thing here at Sketch, here is where I've planned my whole episode, my episode 1. So the first block here is basically what's going to happen in this episode. So I need to announce my main characters and the plots. Here you will see is plot 1 and plot 2. So episode 1 consists of 2 plots. Then I've divided the episode in 3 sections: beginning, middle, and end. So obviously all these are Afrikaans, so I'm translating it for you. And then I write in the beginning what's happening in that section, and then in the middle what must happen there, and in the ending how does the episode end. So here basically under Sketch I can then go and plan out my whole episode. This is quite a nice thing to have. Then at the top, master catalog. if I go there, here you create all your characters and your location, and you can create so many things. You can create props. You can create for movie purposes. You can have special effects or whatever you want. In this instance, I only use characters and location, and I will also suggest you create props, but that is not, I didn't do it because it feels like an unending job if you go that way. For me, props is inside the location, but more on that a bit later. But this is very important, because this, if you set up this correctly, if you create all your characters and all your locations, it will really, really help you later on when you start creating your characters and scenes. And what is nice about this software is if you set it up correctly, it will really make your work so much easier in the future, but more on that a bit later. So obviously, first of all, you create your in the sketch area, you can then plan out your episode, then you create all your characters, locations, and if you want props, which will really, really help you in the future. For instance, with characters, let me show you. If I click on this character, you can add his name, a short description. You can really go into detail about this character. I didn't really go into detail planning this character. I had it in my head. I know what this character must do and his role, so I didn't write it here. This is more for reference if you have someone else writing your script, but in my case, I'm writing the script myself, so I know what each character, what their roles are. I just did a short description, and that is basically it. And then screenplay. This is where you start writing your script. Now you will see here the character names are in red and locations are in yellow or orange. This is very, very important. So what you do is, when you write your script, you write everything here. Then when you start writing, you tag the characters on this section where the mouse is. So you can go to characters, and there's all your characters, and then you insert your characters and your location. So for instance, scene 1, you will see here at the right hand side, I've tagged the 3 characters appearing in the scene and also the location. This is very, very important for your next step in creating your animation. So it is very important to tag your characters, locations, and if you're going to have props as well, to tag your props into when you write your script. It is very, very important. You will see in soon exactly why. Then something that I also love about this software, you will see my whole episode here on the left, scene 1 to scene 15, and they are all color coded. So let's say if I want to go to scene 10, I just double click and it takes me directly to scene 10. Again, you will see the characters and also the location is tagged here, and you'll find them on the right hand side here. But why this is color coded, if you go to the bottom here, index cards, you will see each scene is a card. So what I've done is I've named the scene and I've given a short description of that scene, and then I've created plots. So each plot is a color. So plot 1 is obviously is blue, and plot 2 is pink or purple. So then you can click here and you can just add, you can see you can add up to about 7 plots. For your story, I only have 2, so I've just created the plots, the 2 plots, and then when I write a scene, I just click which one it is. So I can click, is it this plot or is it this plot? In this case, it is this first plot, blue. And then this is important because now you can really physically see with your own eyes the flow of your scene. So if you feel like you don't like the flow of it, you can actually, with your mouse, drag it you can swap it around, as you can see there. So I've swapped these scenes around, so you can now actually go, okay, it's in the correct order now again, so you can really swap the cards around to make sure the flow of it is correctly. And what it will do automatically is, if you swap it around, it will change your script automatically. So that will really help you as well. That is why I also like this software, because it helps you make sure the flow of your script, your story, your story really flows. You can physically see how your story flows. So that is why I also love it. Now, before I go on to the next step of creating your animation, I want to show you why it is so important for you to tag your characters and locations. Because the next step after I've written the script is to design the characters and the scenes and the props. Now, why this software really helps, if I go to reports at the bottom and I click on scene breakdown, then I click on scene 1, and what it does is I can select all. So what it does is scene 1, it will show location is the treehouse, characters that appears in this scene, it lists all the characters. So now when I go to the next step is to create my characters, my scenes and my props. Now I know exactly what I need to do. I know that for scene 1 I need to create these characters and scenes. Scene 2, same. If I click there, it will say, okay, characters, there's 2 characters and the location. Scene 3. So this really helps me plan out and shows me exactly what I need to do. So now that I've created or written my script, I've tagged everything, I've done my planning, I've made sure the flow is correct, and then I can, when I'm finished, I can print it out or I can save it as a PDF. I have printed mine out because I like to make notes, because especially when you do your voiceovers, it's nice that you can print it out, you can make notes on the piece of paper, but with the PDFs you can also then email the script to your voiceover artist. So then let's go over to the next step, the designing of your characters and your scenes. So now it's time to create your characters and scenes. Now, as I've just described to you in the script writing section, after you've tagged all your characters, you can now draw up a report and you can see exactly what needs to be designed or created. So you know what characters to create, what scenes or locations also, and props you need to create. Now for in my case, I'm using Draw Plus X6. It is not one of the best designing softwares out there, but I know the software and the look and feel that I wanted for my characters and for my animation series. I managed to get it, so I'm pretty happy. It just shows that you don't need something expensive to create an animation series. You can actually use anything you want as long as you can export your body parts or your props in PNG files with transparent backgrounds. That is the most important thing you need to do. Other graphic designing softwares you can use and that I will recommend, and there's a reason for it, is if you go to the Reallusion website, is these 5 graphic designing softwares. Now, Affinity Designer is actually the new version of Draw Plus. Same company that designs it. Draw Plus is not available anymore. They went over to create Affinity. So Draw Plus, the reason why I will recommend these softwares is because Reallusion has now created Cartoon Animator 4 that they can link to these 5 softwares, so you can actually create your characters or your props, and you can import it directly into Cartoon Animator 4, or if you want to adjust a prop or a character or add something, maybe a new facial expression, you can just quickly export it to one of these softwares. You can make your adjustments and import it back. So it makes your workflow so much easier. So I will highly recommend you guys get one of these graphic designing softwares, but it just shows that the fact that I'm using Draw Plus, you can use anything you want. The most important thing, as mentioned, you must be able to export everything as PNG files with a transparent background. So here you will see is one of my characters that I created, and if you go here on the left side, you will see there's different layers for each separate part. This is very important when you rig your character. And so you'll see there's brows, and if I click there, you've got your left brow, right brow, you've got your front hair, you've got your nose, your eyes, ears, everything that you all the different body parts to create your character. So what you do then is you export all of this separately. So for instance, let's go for your front hair. You can see it's highlighted. I then go File, Export as Picture. You'll see it's transparent, and you make sure it is a PNG file. In this case, 300 dpi's. That's what I will recommend. And then you just simply export it, and you export every body part. If you want to know more about body rigging or rigging a character, Reallusion has great tutorials on how you can do that. So what you then do is here's my character inside Crazy Talk Animator 3, or you can use Cartoon Animator 4, it doesn't matter. So here's my character. I've already rigged it. So let me just quickly show you. I'm going to click here, and then it's just going to open here quickly. Okay, so here's my character with all the different body parts, as you can see. So I've imported all the different PNG files, and then I've rigged my character. You'll see the hair is not here. The hair is actually a separate bone character, so that I can animate the flow of the ponytail. But in any case, let's say for instance this hand, you'll see if I double click there is all the different hand gestures. So I can then just easily create or select which one I want. So I'm using my animation software that I'm using to create my animation series is Crazy Talk Animator 4. I started my animation series 14 months ago, before Cartoon Animator 4 came out. So I will highly recommend you get Cartoon Animator 4, because there's a lot more great features. You can actually have a 360 head, so you can animate the head so it moves and look around. Crazy Talk Animator 3 unfortunately doesn't have that feature, but I'm still happy with the look and feel of my animation series even without that 360 head feature, etc. As long as you're happy with your results and you're getting what you want, that is the most important thing. So basically you rig up your character. You can see here's my bone. I've rigged the bone structure of my character so that I can then also go and animate it. Anyways, you can then just create your rig your character, and if you go back here you can animate it. Now let me show you another reason why I will recommend Crazy Talk Animator 3 or Cartoon Animator 4. If you are creating your own animation series by yourself, you don't have a whole team, then I will highly recommend you use the software, because it will save so much time. It will make your animation process so much faster. Let me show you why. So here's my character. Okay, I'm selecting it. And what's great about Cartoon Animator 4, you've got motion. So if I click on animation and I want my character to walk, then I've got different motions. So I can then just, let's say, move. Okay, so I can really use different motions that I can use. So let's go to the walking motion. So I drag it. Okay, that's the start. So let me drag it, and there's walking. And I can just drag quite a few times and then walk end, let him stop. And let's go to the beginning of the animation, and if I press play, I mean, there I've just made my character walking, or made my character to walk, and just see how quick and easy that was. Imagine how long it will take just to animate that by yourself. And this is why I highly recommend you use Cartoon Animator 4, because it will really save up a lot of your time. Believe me, your animation, you can actually go onto Reallusion on their website to the marketplace or the content store, and you can actually go and purchase more motions. One that I really like is the cartoon animation, or the cartoon motions. Let me just remove the animations. Let me see if it did. Yes, it did. Okay, so I mean, if you just look here, this is now all the cartoon motions. I absolutely love this one. Let's see which one is a nice one. So let's start running, and then it runs, and then it ends. And there my character is running. It starts and it runs and it ends. So you can see why I can recommend this. It really speeds up your whole process of creating your animation, and I really, really love this software. Okay, so now you've created your character. Let's just go over to creating a scene. In Draw Plus, I've created, here's a scene, a bus stop scene. So it is all separate props that I've created, and then I export each prop individually as a PNG file again, and then I go into Crazy Talk and I create my scene. So let me show you the end result. I've created a lot of separate props that I've saved as well, so I can add different props into different scenes. So for instance, a dustbin, I can use a dustbin in a whole lot of different scenes. I can use it in this scene, in the bus stop scene. I can use it in a school scene, in a shopping mall, or whatever. So I'm actually reusing a lot of the props that I've created. So you'll see, for instance, here I don't have a backdrop, but the reason why is I've created trees in a different scene, and I'm just using those trees again, and I'm using other props like the sky and the sun and the clouds. I'm using it from Crazy Talk Animator. So now the scene is loaded. You'll see it looks completely different. You'll see there's the skyline of the city, there's clouds, there's a sky, there's a sun. I've added a lot of like these lights, and I've added a lot of props to create my scene. But the most important thing is you import all your different props you've created in your graphic designing software, and then you place it where you want. But then the most important thing is to place it in a 3D environment. As you can see here, you'll see the sky and the skyline of the city is far back. The reason that is, it then creates a 3D feel. It creates depth into your scene. Let me quickly show you what I mean. If I do that, you'll see it kind of, the background that's far away moves slower, and what's closer actually moves quite faster. So when I move this, you can see the tree and the wall. It creates that 3D kind of feel to it. So you import all your scenes or your PNG files, you place them where you want it. You just create your 3D scene so that your characters can also move behind certain objects. For instance, your character can walk here behind the street lamp, but in front of the wall. So that is very important. So you can actually place your characters into your scene where you want them as well. So this is how you then create your characters and your scenes. The software I use obviously is Draw Plus X6. For animation I use Crazy Talk Animator 3, but I will recommend you get Cartoon Animator 4 because you have so many more options, and tools and things you can do. And then obviously these are graphic designing software that I can recommend because they integrate with Cartoon Animator 4 to create or to make your workflow so much faster and easier. So you've now created your characters and scene. Let's go over to the next part. Okay, so the next step is storyboarding, and this is one step that I will highly recommend you guys do not skip. This is in my personal opinion, this or storyboarding really improved my animations by about 70%. For two reasons. It helps you with the planning of your animation. You know, or you plan where you want to place your characters in your scene. It also helps you with your camera angles or your camera work for when you want to zoom in, zoom out, all those kind of things, your camera movement. This is where you basically plan your animation. You do your planning and then you're going to use your storyboard later on as well when it comes to your animatic. But storyboarding is something, it is probably the crappiest part of creating your animation because it takes very long, but it is the most important part of your animation because it really makes a much big difference. Like I've said, it improved my animations by about 70%. Now, if you don't know how to create a storyboard, then I will highly recommend you guys go to 2D animation. The link is in the description box below, and then you go and you take this course on storyboard. This will really help you guys if you're not sure how to create your own storyboard. I took a lot of the 2D animation courses, and I will highly recommend you guys do the same. It really improved my animations as well, especially because I've never done animation in the past. So for me, just to up my skills and my knowledge and to learn and to know more on how I can create an awesome animation series. I took quite a lot of the series that on the 2D animation, or the courses on the 2D animation website, and what I will do is in this video I will add, or I will mention the courses that I took, but in the description box I will also recommend other courses. But for this, for storyboarding, I highly recommend you guys take this course. It will definitely help you guys a lot. Now back to storyboarding. The software that I used is Storyboarder. It is another free software that you can use, and I really like it. So what you do is you take your script, you print it out, and then you start going it and you plan it and you draw out your scenes, and then you can also add, for instance, here on the right, you can add your dialogue, what's being said. You will see it will add here at the bottom, and you can also add some comments, what's happening in the scene, and notes also, again, how the camera will move. You can see I've added arrows showing that the camera is zooming in, and then you can just basically keep on creating each scene. Now if you see here at the top, my episode 1 has 417 images, so it took a while for me to draw these, to do the storyboarding. It is not a great job, it is a crap job like I've mentioned, but it really makes a massive difference in your final animation project and how it will look as well. So I highly recommend you guys to get this software, and what is great about it, you can export it to as images, but you can also export it as a PDF file. So I've done both. The images, it will export each image on its own as a JPEG file into a folder. You're going to use that later on, and I will get to that. But then secondly, for the PDF, when it comes to animation, it's great to just have that PDF printed out. I actually run, when I do the animation, I have the printed script and the printed PDF of my storyboard right in front of me when I do my animation. So it really helps me as well, especially with the animation. I know now exactly how my camera must move, my camera movements. You'll see here again, it moves, it zooms out. So when I do my animation, the storyboard really helps me, and it guides me on what to animate, how to animate it, where I must place my characters, how my camera must move, all of those things. So luckily this software Storyboarder is free. It is a great software. I've got a drawing tablet, so it really helped me with drawing my storyboard. And as you can see, you don't have to do it professionally. It's just a rough guide. You just quickly draw these images. It is a rough guide. You can see I didn't put a lot of detail in it. It is just my reference to know how the camera moves, where my characters are placed, when I'm close up, when I'm not close up, all of those kind of things. So I do my planning on my animation in my storyboard. So the next part of creating your animation series is to do your voiceover recordings. Now, I'm lucky enough to be a sound engineer, so my job is to record albums for singers and artists and bands and mix it. So I've got all the gear and the space and the knowledge as well to get a great recording. So I'm lucky enough that I didn't have to rent out a studio or buy extra equipment. Now the thing is, you guys may not have these equipment or these gear that I have, so I'm gonna show you a cheap way that you can get great results. Unfortunately, this is the one area in my animation where I did spend the most money, and the money that I spent was on voiceover actors. Now, the reason I've spent money on voiceover actors and not use friends or family or just people that I know, with animation, it's unlike acting. With animation, your character's personality, their emotion, everything is comes from their voice. So if you don't have a good voiceover actor, your character won't come alive. Their personality won't go through or come through. Their emotions won't come through. So you can do an amazing job on animating your character, but if the voiceover actor doesn't know what he's doing, or isn't great, or doesn't give your character personality, your whole animation will fall flat. So I highly recommend you guys spend a little money on getting good quality voiceover actors. There are websites like Fiverr that you can go to. So I can highly recommend you guys go to that website and get some professional voiceover actors. Now, like I've mentioned, I've got a recording studio, so I've got all the software and I've got all the gear you guys probably don't have. So I'm going to show you guys quickly things that you can get. So the first one on the screen, as you can see, is Audacity. It is a recording software that you can use, and it is free to download as well. Again, I'll add the link in the description box below, and you can do all your recording and mixing on Audacity for your animation right here. You can maybe rent out a studio to do your recordings, but it's going to cost you a lot of money. I will actually recommend you guys go this route that I'm going to do now, or going to show you now, and that is to get yourself Audacity, and then again 2D animation. Take the mixing audio for animation in Audacity course. This will also help you guys how to mix your animation and how to use Audacity as well. So this will really help you. So get Audacity and take this course. Now, when it comes to gear, what gear do you need? Now, luckily you don't have to buy a lot. You can actually do it in your bedroom. You can get great quality. If you have Audacity, you can still get professional quality right from home. So I went on to sweetwater.com. Here's a microphone that I will recommend. It is a very cheap microphone, entry level, but the sound quality is good. I'm actually for my animation, I use the Samson CO3 microphone, so the sound quality will be pretty much the same. But why I'm recommending this one is it is actually a USB microphone. So you don't need an audio interface that will cost you a lot of money. You can just plug in your microphone. Let me just click here. It comes with a USB cable. You just plug it into your laptop or your computer. And you can also plug in earphones into your microphone, and you can record then everything directly into Audacity. So this microphone makes it easier for you. You don't need an audio interface or a mixer to get your audio into your computer. You just plug your microphone into your computer with a USB cable. So that really makes life a lot easier for you. So you can have a great quality microphone, and make sure when you get a microphone, make sure it is a condenser microphone. A condenser microphone will just give you so much more clarity in the voice. It will give you better quality as well. So make sure if you're going to buy a microphone, get a condenser microphone, and I can highly recommend you guys get the Samson CO1U microphone. The second thing you need, and I also again will recommend this, and a lot of people argue with me on this one, and that is a reflection filter. A lot of people say you don't need this. I do think if you're going to record this at home, you want to take out the sound of your room, the ambience of your room, or the acoustics of your room. You want to eliminate that as much as possible, because if you want to add certain effects onto your voiceover recordings for your animation, you don't want ambience or a room already on top of your voice. You want it as plain as simple, so that if you want to add reverb onto your voice in your animation, you can do that, so that you don't add reverb on top of reverb as well. So get this, and then this filter. So obviously you put your microphone there in the middle, and it takes out a lot of the room noise out of your recordings. And then what I will also suggest you do is, if you have this filter behind your voiceover artist, your voiceover actor, put like a blankets or towels or pillows that will also behind your voiceover artist. So that will also help, because a lot of reflection will come from behind your artist, and your mic will pick it up. So make sure you put your artist in front of something that will also absorb a lot of the reflections of the audio sound waves. So basically, if you want some good audio recordings and you want to do it yourself, you can get Audacity. It is free. You get yourself a USB condenser microphone, and you get yourself an reflection filter, and that will really give you guys great quality if you want to record it at home. If you've got the finances or money, then you can go to a recording studio and let them do that as well. And then finally, also I highly recommend you guys take this course. It will help you to mix your audio as well for your animation, so that it sounds perfect. Another tip that I will give you guys when you record your voiceover artist, and this is something that I've done, and I've also seen a lot of your big animation studios, they do the same, is I let the voiceover artist record each line 3 times, but in 3 different ways. So when it comes to my Animatic, I can listen to the 3 different ways of that line, the 3 different versions, and then I can just see which one fits the story best, or which one flows better into the next line. So that is something that I've also done. So it's just a tip, is to get your voiceover actor to record each line in 3 different ways. So that is a great tip that I will give all you guys. So let's go on to the next step, the Animatic. So now we're at the next part, the animatic. Now, as I've mentioned before, as the storyboarding is very important, but I think the most crucial part of your animation is your animatic, because this is where you're going to see your animation for the first time, your story. You're going to visually see your story for the first time, and this is where you get your timing right, the timing, the flow of the story, all of those things. So what you do here is you get yourself an editing software. I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro, but you can use any software that you want. One thing that I will recommend again is another course. It is using an editing software for animation. Now they are also using Premiere Pro in this course, but they also say that you can use any editing software that you want. The principles are the same. So again, I will highly recommend you take this course, because it will really go a lot more in depth of what I'm going to show you guys now. So the first thing you need to do is you need to import two things. You need to import your storyboard images. So I've created some folders here. So if I open up here, here you will see all my storyboard images. You can see for the I've divided them into scenes. So this is scene 3, and all the storyboard images you will find in there. The second thing you need to import is all your voiceover recordings, and here you will have, like I've mentioned before, you're going to record your voiceover artist 3 times in where they say a line in 3 different ways. So here you will import all of them, all 3, and you will see for this scene there is quite a lot of voiceover recordings. There's 26 lines, and some of them have 4, 5, 6 different takes. So what you then do is you then start to build your scene. I'm just going to go through this one scene. You will see here is on the timeline is the images, and I've created separate channels for each character. So here you will see on my timeline how it basically works. I've built up my whole scene with the images. You will see if I click, it builds up my whole scene, and then here is all the voiceover recordings. But what I've done is I've gone through all of the voiceover recordings. For instance, this line, there's obviously let's have a look here quickly. There was 6 different recordings for this single line, and then what I did was I've selected which one fits the best, and then again for this next one you'll see there for my next character, his line, it is obviously this one. She's done 5 takes. So out of the 5, I select which one fits the best. And obviously what you want to look for is also that the different lines flow. So the dialogue will go, or your dialogue flows from one line to another, so that each line must complement the next one, so that you have a nice fluent dialogue. So you build your whole scene with your storyboard images, and then also with your voiceover recordings. Now this is actually also a very long process. You will see, let me go and show you my whole episode. This is the whole episode, 15 scenes. You can see there's a lot of work. I think this took me a whole month to do. But as you can see, it is nicely, there's all my storyboard images, and then I've got each character on each line. This will help me when I do my final audio mixing afterwards. And yes, also here there's sound effects for ambience or for any other sound effects. And yeah, so this is where you then create your animatic. Now your animatic is very important because you're going to animate your animation on top of your animatic. So what you're going to do is you're then going to go, and let's go to scene 1. You'll see on scene 1. So there you'll have your animatic, and then you will export a section of this as an MP3 file. And what you're then going to do is in your animation software, and I'm going to go through that just now. In your animation software, you then going to import your audio file, and then you animate on top of that. So that we're going to do in the next section. So in this section, what you need is your editing software, and then you import your voiceover recordings and also your storyboard, and then you build your whole animation, so that once you've done this part, once you've finished creating your animatic, you can then basically go to the front, you can press play, and you will be able to watch your first take of your whole animation from beginning to end. And I'm going to show you a short clip of what this looks like.
Hi Simon, hi David. Marie, wat maak jy hier? Jy weet mos hierdie is ons seun se uithangplek.
Ek kom maar net kom hoor of julle nie saam met my 'n teepartytjie wil hou nie. My ma het vir my 'n splinternuwe teestel gekoop. Ooh, gaan daar kos wees by die teepartytjie?
Nee Marie, ons wil nie saam met jou speel tee drink nie. Kan jy nie sien ons is besig met seuns dinge nie?
Now the next part of this process of creating your own animation is probably the most important part, the animation. And for this, again, I'm using Crazy Talk Animator 3. I've shown you exactly why earlier in this video. Like I've also mentioned, I would prefer you guys get Cartoon Animator 4. And then what I then do is, obviously with my animatic, I've exported those different audio clips, and then I will import the clip here. You'll see in music, there's my audio clip. I've imported that. And then I will import the scene. Obviously, again, what you need to create your animation is you need your storyboard and your script. So those will help you. Your storyboard will help you with your character placement, your camera movement. Your script will help you with your with what characters need to be in here, your scenes, etc. So, for instance, I know the treehouse scene is what I need for this scene. So if I go to scenes here and scene super, so here's all the scenes that I've created for my animation series. So then I just import my treehouse scene. I go to characters and go to superheld, and so here's all my list of characters. I import my characters, I place them where I want them to be. As mentioned again, I import the MP3 that I've exported from my animatic, and then I animate on top of that MP3 file. That is very, very important, because now you know the timing, the flow, etc. And then you also use your storyboard as your reference on your camera movements, where you want to place your characters, all of those kind of things. So then you animate your scene, just that short clip. You'll see my one scene has like 1, 2, 3. If I go down, 7 different. I've broken up my animatic, my scene in my animatic. I've broken it up in 7 shorter clips, and then I just animate those clips individually. So this is now the clip number 3, and then obviously if I press play.
Wow, Kaptein Legweg is so cool.
Ja, ek weet ek was so cool soos hy.
Ai, en nou moet ons weer 'n hele maand wag voordat die volgende uitgawe uitkom om te sien wat volgende gebeur.
So that's just a short animation of my series. As you can see, after I've done this, I will export now the scene that I've animated. I will obviously render the video to 1920 by 1080, and then I will go back to my animatic here, and I will then import those videos. You'll see here's the videos that I've animated. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong scene. Let me go to the correct scene. That was scene 1. And the videos. And then you'll see there's that clip that I've animated. Here's all the different clips. And then I will drag that on top of that part that I need to animate. It's obviously this part. So what happens now is I add my animations on top of my Animatic. So basically I'm replacing the Animatic bit by bit with my animation, and you can see here I've done it. The bottom line here is my storyboard images, and then the one above is my animations that I've done, and I've replaced it. So you can see I still have to animate that small part, but all the others I've finished animating. So what you then do is you go through your Animatic, you export your short clips. For instance, scene 1 is 6 clips, and then I animate them in Crazy Talk. I export it back as video files, import those video files, and I replace that video file with that Animatic clip. More on this, again, you will see using an editing software for animation. You will learn more about what I've done here in this course. So again, I can highly recommend you take this course on the 2danimation101.com website. It will really help you guys. So that is then basically how you animate. You do your animation in your animation software, export the video file, and then you replace that video file with your Animatic storyboard images, and then basically you build your whole animation episode from beginning right till the end, till you are finished. And that is your animation part.
Hi Simon, hi David.
Marie, wat maak jy hier? Jy weet mos hierdie is ons seun se uithangplek.
Ek kom maar net kom hoor of julle nie saam met my 'n teepartytjie wil hou nie. My ma het vir my 'n splinternuwe teestel gekoop. Ooh, gaan daar kosies by die teepartytjie?
Nee Marie, ons wil nie saam met jou speel tee drink nie. Kan jy nie sien ons is besig met seunsdinge nie?
So now we're getting to the last part of creating your animation, and that is sound design. Now this is how I'm going to do this, and you can do it your own way, but let me show you what I'm doing. You'll see when I created my Animatic, I've created my characters, all the voice recordings for one character on one timeline here. So every character in my animation will fall on a different timeline, and then I will have all my characters there. Then I have sound effects. I'm going to have for ambience. That is something I still have to do. So what will happen then is after I've created my animation from beginning to end, then I will do my sound design. I've got my voiceover recordings already done, so I don't have to worry about that. But now I need sound effects. I need music. I need ambience. For instance, for one scene, let me go here. This is a scene in a shopping center. So I've went onto the internet and I downloaded a shopping center ambience noise. So it sounds like my characters are actually inside a shopping center. So you'll hear lots of background noise and all of those kind of things, just to give my animation a bit more of a lively feel to it. So there are loads of websites you can go to. I would just say go to Google and search for free audio samples, and just go mad, because it's difficult for this to give you one specific website where you can go to, because all the sound effects that and ambience sound effects that I've found are all from different websites. So I had to really go and look for sound effects. You can either record your own, but after you've done your animation, then you build your sound design. You do your sound design, so you add your sound effects, your ambience, your music, and all of that. So what I would prefer you do is create a separate channel every time for your, like in my case, I have sound design, a separate channel for each character. I will have this a separate channel for ambience. I will have a separate channel for music, all of that. So once you've done your sound design, then there's a few things you can do. The first one is, again, you can mix everything in Audacity. This course again will help you. Again, I will say or recommend this course. So then you can just take this course and you can do your final mixing in Audacity. The second option, what you can do, is you can basically, after you've done your sound design inside your editing software, you can just mix everything here. Most of your editing software will come with effects, audio effects, and you can compress or EQ or add reverb or whatever. So you can basically do your mixing here as well. Or your third option is you can export each channel individually, so that you have all the different channels, and you can just send it to a professional sounding or sound engineer to mix everything for you. If you don't, that is something I might recommend if you want a good quality sound. If you don't know how to EQ, if you don't know how to compress, if you don't know panning and all of those kind of things, you might not get a good quality sound. If you know what you're doing, then you can do it yourself inside your editing software or inside Audacity. Luckily for me, as mentioned before, I am a sound engineer, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to export every channel individually, and then I'm going to import it into my mixing software that I use for recording, because I've got a lot of more plugins, better sounding plugins, and to really make my animation sound professional. So that is what I'm going to do, but in your case, you don't have the equipment and gear that I have, so you can just do it inside your editing software, or you can do it inside Audacity and take that course on how to do it, or alternatively, you can get a professional sound engineer that can do this audio mixing for you. So this is the last step. So once you've done this and you've got your animation done, you've got your sound design done, then you can export your animation, the final product, and then your animation is complete. You may want to add a few extra things like titles at the end, or some more effects. I am gonna add some more effects inside my editing software, just to add that little something that makes it look just a little bit more professional, so that you can still do inside your editing software. But after that, your episode is complete, and then your animation is done, and you are ready to share it with the world. Okay, so you finished your first animation. Now what? What do you do with it? Well, you can upload it onto YouTube for free for the world to see, or you can upload it on Vimeo. You create for yourself a Vimeo On Demand account, and you can sell it to the world. Unfortunately, to be able to sell your animations on Vimeo On Demand, you must have the Pro account, and that is, you can see here, it works out $20 a month. So it is a bit expensive, but if you want to sell your animation, then this is a great way to do it. The second reason why I would suggest Vimeo On Demand, let me just show you quickly. It's got channels, it's got categories, so your animation will be on their website amongst other great animations as well. So your animation will get some great eyeballs. People will see it because it is on the Vimeo On Demand website already amongst all the other animations available on Vimeo. So that is also a great way just for people to see your animation, to know about it. So I can highly recommend Vimeo On Demand. Now my animation will be available on the Twinnovate website, so I've got my own platform and how I'm gonna sell it. But if you don't have your own website and you don't know how you can sell it, well, Vimeo is a great option for you that you can take. So just go to Vimeo On Demand or vimeo.com, click on Demand and create for yourself a pro account. It's $20 a month, and you can then sell your animation. Now let me quickly see if I can find an animation show for you so you can see what it looks like on you know what your program will look like on Vimeo, because your episode or your series will have its own its own page, and that's a great thing. So let's just click on this one quickly, and then so your page or your show or your animation will have its own show or page like this, so people can buy it, they can rent it. There's a short trailer you can upload here, your poster and everything will be here. So this just looks so professional, and you can actually design the whole look of your page as well. So you've got your own page, and you can share that link to other people on social media where people can buy your animation. So this is also a great way for you to make money from your animation and to earn an income, and then maybe expand, buy better equipment, or improve on what improve on your animation. So this is a great way for you to do that. So guys, that is it. That is how I'm creating my own animation series. I hope this will inspire you to do the same. But before I go, I want to give you guys one last tip. Now, what is an animation series without some merchandise? And I want to show you guys something that I'm doing just to help promote my animation series, and that is that I'm creating my own coloring pages. Now let me quickly show you what I'm doing. If I go back to Draw Plus, I took my characters and I made it completely black and white. So this is basically exactly the same as when I create my own character. You'll see here on the right hand side all the different layers, and I will then also go and export each body part as a PNG file. Then what I will do is I will go to Crazy Talk Animator, I will import it, I will rig it as normal. Let me quickly show you guys, and then I will there you go, I will rig it as a normal character, like the normal character I've showed you guys earlier in the video. And then basically what I will do is I will go and I will make it a specific pose. Now you can also go to animation and your motions, and then you can go to specific let's go to a specific pose. I think so. Let's go for a specifically. Which one can we go for? Let's say we go for this normal position, and we drag it on top, and there you go. Okay, so basically that is your character. That's an animation. What we actually do want is a specific pose. Let's see if we've got something here. Let's add this pose here, and we drag it on top, and there's a pose. Your character is posing. In this instance the character's eyes are closed, but then what you do is you can then render it as an image. That is what I did with as a PNG, so the background is white, and then in my graphics designing software again I will import it with that specific pose, and then I will create a specific coloring pages. Now let me quickly show you what I've done. So here is quite a few that I created. Here is one. So then I've got of all the characters, I've created some nice coloring pages, each one with its own specific pose, and that is something easy you can do as well, just to help promote your animation series, and just to make it a little bit better and more exciting, and some extra features that you can add on top of your animation series, just to make it more of an experience for the kids watching it. So that is just an extra tip for you guys. Use it. You don't have to use it, but that is just something I'm doing, and I'm making it as a specific add-on, a specific extra for the viewers. So guys, that is it. That is how I've created my own animation series. Feel free to leave your comments if you are working on a project. Feel free to leave a link to your YouTube channel or to your video in the description box. I would love to go check it out. If there are other tools that you are using that are also free that maybe will help other viewers, feel free to leave it in the comment box. And I would love to hear from you guys as well. And I hope this video will inspire you to create your own animation series. You don't need a big budget or a big team. Yes, it will take some time. In my instance, it took me 14 months for episode 1, but it can be done. And every episode afterwards will be much quicker because the characters are already designed, the scenes are already designed. So everything will go much quicker as from episode 2 onwards. So it can be done. I hope this video will inspire you guys. If you guys would love to purchase Superheld 101, it is in Afrikaans, but you can just go to tweeninnovate.com/superheld101.php. I am going to translate it into English in early 2020. So the English version will be available somewhere in 2020, probably early to mid 2020. So it will be available. So just go to the website and check it out. And yeah, if you have created your own series and it's on Vimeo, please let me know. Put it in the description box. I would love to go and check it out. So guys, from me, I hope you are inspired. And from me, God bless and goodbye.